Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today there was a vicious attack by someone who set off 2 bombs at the Boston Marathon here in the United States. And first I would like to pray for those people who were killed or injured in this attack, and pray for their families and friends as well. I would also like to point out that already in the media, some people are pointing towards Middle East terrorists that committed this vicious attack, or Al-Qaeda. Now, for Sikhs, it's important to understand that many hate people here in the United States, or people that are ignorant about the way Sikhs look, mistake us as Sikhs for these Al-Qaeda personages. You can see here, these are pictures of 2 Sikh gentlemen that were murdered last year in Sacramento. Now that case was never solved, but it's believed that it was someone who mistaken these individuals for terrorists. Now Sikhs wear turbans and beards as part of our tenets of faith. And we believe in one God. We are very religious people, and we don't believe in any kind of terrorist acts or vicious bombings like happened today. So I hope that all Americans will understand that this difference. I'm going to show you here a picture. This is one of Al-Qaeda's top officials, and you can see the similarities. But again, Sikhs are not these individuals. This was Osama bin Laden. And Sikhs are very upstanding citizens. Here you can see Sikhs who fought in World War II, and they fight proudly in the military. We also believe in self-defense, of course, but we don't believe in offensive attacks. So I'm going to show you a video that I made several months ago that will instruct Sikhs, and anybody else for that matter, on self-defense and why we need to defend ourselves and defend those that can't defend themselves. So again, after these attacks today, I would encourage Sikhs to be on the alert and to be aware that there are ignorant people and hate mongers who would attack us and mistake us for terrorists. Today I want to talk a little bit about self-defense with handguns and other weapons as a result of all of these terrible shootings that have been happening in the United States. Now, especially, it's important to realize and to understand that we need to take measures to defend ourselves and our families with handguns in the wake of these horrible shootings that happened at the elementary school there in Connecticut. Now, it's a fact, unfortunately, that our society has these deranged people in it that have access to guns. And before I talk about how we can actually take specific measures to protect ourselves, I want to talk just a little bit about why this may be happening in our society. I listened to some of the news reports and to some of the other accounts of the shooting. And it seems that this young man who did the shootings was part of a broken home, and I suspect there was no worship of God or other spiritual things that were happening in his family. I have to research that some more. But my observation here in our American society is that all of these things will not change until we come back to worshiping God and to come back to the proper moral values that we should have in our families and in our society. So all of these things like global warming and other problems that we have, I believe, will be immediately solved once we get back to worshiping God and we get back to proper values. Now let's talk a little bit about the specifics about how we can protect ourselves in the meantime with firearms. I encourage people to go get a concealed weapons license. Usually, in most states, you can get these through your local sheriff's office or department. I just recently obtained a concealed weapons license through the Sutter County Sheriff here in California. And I have to say that it was a very good process. I've been around firearms since I was 11 years old, and I learned a lot myself about how to do self-defense and the laws concerning self-defense and where you can and cannot carry a concealed weapon. Now, I would say that if the teachers or staff would have been, somebody at that school would have been carrying a concealed weapon or had access to a weapon that could have saved lives. Now, I carry a revolver, and the one that I choose to carry is a Smith & Wesson, although there are many other different types there. The reason for carrying a revolver is because it's easy to shoot. You don't have to load a round in the chamber, and you just draw the weapon and then shoot. Most self-defense incidences happen within 5 or 6 feet, so you're very close to the person that you're trying to stop, and a revolver will really do the trick. And it's lightweight also. That's the other factor. You can easily conceal it here. As you can see, all you have to do is put on the coat. This is for men. Now, women can conceal it maybe in a purse or other places, but you can see it's concealed here easily. Now, for that school situation, I think it would be appropriate for all schools and places like the Sikh Gurdwara, where there was a shooting, to have a weapon like this, a rifle. This happens to be a semi-automatic Ruger 223. It's based on the M14 that the military uses. It's capable of shooting as many as 20 or 30 rounds, and this would be good in order to hit the person in the head that was attacking if they were wearing a bulletproof vest like that deranged young man who was at the shootings there in Connecticut. If you're trained, you could easily shoot somebody in the head with this rifle. I tried out for the Olympics for five different times, and I know from experience that you could hit that person in the head if you were trained. This is another handgun that I have. It's another Smith & Wesson again, another revolver. And you can see here that the hammer is shaved down in order to prevent any cut in the clothing or any place where it would get caught. And the sharp fires 5 shots. Now, for those that may be Sikhs that are listening to this video, I want to remind you that Gurdwaras, who was our 10th Sikh guru, encouraged us to train with weapons. And he encouraged his sons, he encouraged all of the Khalsa to train with weapons and to be able to defend ourselves, our families, and defend those that cannot defend themselves. So it's part of our history. And if history of the Sikhs, you will see that many times the Sikhs have fought battles against oppressive Mughals who attacked India. And Gurdwaras was compassionate as well. He wasn't just an aggressive monger. He was a true compassionate person. In fact, there's a story about how he shot arrows at the attacking Mughals, and then those with gold-pointed arrows, so that when they were found by their relatives, the relatives would have this gold in order to help them. So he was a very compassionate person. And so we want to be as compassionate as possible in this type of defense. But we have to face realities of how we can and how we must defend ourselves, and we have an obligation to defend ourselves, defend our families, and defend those who cannot or will not defend themselves. But thank you for your time, and I hope you will investigate these different options for you in getting concealed weapons and to get training and get proper training with firearms. Why would you not call stop? Why? I want to